Hey Rick, how you doing?
Good, Megan. Thanks.
Here we
How are you
are.
doing? Yeah.
It's good. Good. It's a beautiful day after it rained
hmm
so much yesterday. Now the
Can't beat this.
sky is clear and the birds are chirping and the leaves have been washed off of the trees and life
Yeah.
is good again.
Love the fall time.
I know. I love it.
It's great
So
out.
you picked the topic this week and it sounded amazing. So I'm going to let you take the lead.
Yeah, thanks. So, as a lender, I deal with these issues every day. And, consumers, they see stuff, they Google stuff, and they do things. And so, I look at so many credit reports and I help so many people how to fix certain things. But sometimes, you have to really understand how those credit scores work
Mm-hmm.
and what impacts those credit scores. And sometimes what happens is I'll get a phone call and then an initial consult with a buyer. They go, "Hey, great news! I paid off all my credit cards." And I go, "Oh, right," because they had some credit stuff. They think they're doing all the right things by paying those credit cards off and then closing the accounts.
Mm-hmm.
The challenge is that your credit is also, it's a function of a couple things with credit cards. It's a function of how much of that credit you're using
Mm-hmm.
and how well you're paying that credit on time. But how much credit you have and how much credit you're using plays a big factor in that overall credit score.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as you see on this display, when people pay off accounts,
Mm-hmm.
it has the opposite effect. So when you pay off an account, that will actually reduce your. I'm sorry. When you close the account, that will oftentimes reduce a credit score.
Okay, so let me pause you 1 second, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say I have available to me $20,000 worth of credit in various
Right.
places. Let's say I've got a Living Spaces card and
Mm-hmm.
a Chase Ink or whatever the story is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And every month I use about 10,000 and then I pay it off. I use it for business. I pay it off every month.
Mm-hmm.
So that's better than having zero credit available because it shows that you can use the credit
You're
and you
using
can
the
pay
card
the credit.
and you're paying it off, right?
What if
Correct.
I max it out every month? That if I have 20,000 and I spent 20,000, but what if I pay it off every month?
That's a great question. It depends. And what that depends on, Megan, is when I run that credit report, what the credit bureaus are reporting when that credit is pulled. So for
Mhm.
example, let's say someone has a $10,000 credit card and they owe $9,500 on it, for example, right?
Mhm.
But then they're going to pay it off in 2 weeks, or they just had just paid it off. The credit scoring models lag in time a little bit. So if somebody paid off that $9,500 card, say this past Monday, and I run credit today, it's probably not going to report.
Mhm.
And so if it does not report and it shows that balance at 9,500, that's going to
Mhm.
reflect that in the credit scoring.
Well, what about this scenario?
Mm-hmm.
I understand that it's about kind of when you run it and
Right.
it could be sort of hit and miss when you're
Mhm.
paying it off every month. What if I have a $20,000 credit limit and I constantly have about 19,000 on it every month? I'm just making
Mhm.
kind of the minimum payments.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Different story there. What you want to do is ideally in a perfect world, you want to be at under 30% of the maximum credit limit.
Mhm.
Okay, so if you have a $20,000 card, you want to keep that balance under $6,000 ideally.
Mhm. Mhm.
Even better, closer to 10%. Okay,
Mhm.
30% is ideal. When you start going above that 30% mark, that starts to drag a little bit on the credit scores,
Mhm.
a little bit, not much, but where people get really hit is they have a bunch of credit cards and they pay them on time perfectly fine, no problems whatsoever. But they're using 80 or 85 or 90% of that maximum credit limit. Now they've got lower credit scores.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so that's where that piece comes in, is the how much of that credit they are using.
Mhm.
So those are the two factors, right? How well you pay the credit and how much of that credit you use.
Okay. All right.
And the
Okay, go
usage
ahead.
is a big
That's
piece.
good.
That's a very big piece.
Yeah.
And so oftentimes what we do with home buyers, I look at those numbers and those ratios, and let's say I need to get to a certain credit score. Maybe I'm only a few points short to get to the next level for the best pricing, right? I will look at that credit report, and we can tweak that a little bit and say, look, if you pay this down 500 or pay this down 1,000, I can get that credit score up. And
Right.
so, that's that rapid restore we talk about, right?
Mhm.
So we pay that off or pay it down, then we submit that back to our credit bureau, and they
Mhm.
actually will do a manual update of that credit file and get us a
Yeah.
new score within about 3 to 5 days, rather
That's
than
awesome.
waiting 30 days, right?
Right.
Yep.
Now, we don't have time to waste in California real estate. Things go very, very
Right.
quickly. And when you have to,
Yeah.
have your
Yeah.
loan completely approved in 17 days sometimes, and having that
Or
credit
less.
score. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, we
All
want to
right.
be prepared, as we always talk about that. So it's important that when we're talking to home buyers, please log back in here. We want to be prepared. So that's why we want to have those credit profiles up and running and see what we're working with.
Mm-hmm.
And then that way, when we get to an offer, we know exactly what it looks like.
Right.
The last thing we want to do is being in escrow and then try to fix things while we're in escrow.
Oh, yeah.
That puts a lot of pressure on you.
Yeah, exactly. And you can't control the outcome.
Correct.
Yeah,
That's
that's why
for sure.
people need to get their pre-approval done way ahead of time, so you can kind of
Mhm.
dig into this. And I mean,
Yeah.
some buyers now we've had for a year and a half, and
We
so
have.
so that's a whole nother story. Then you have to keep updating.
Yeah, we update every 90 or 120 days or so. It's that's just the way it works. But the important thing is I want people to really know what impacts their credit scores. And so what we really want to know on this is, as I said, two things: how much credit you're using, and how well you pay the bills, how well you
Right.
pay that credit. So keep it,
Yeah.
if you can, under 30% of the total credit. Of course, pay everything on time. Don't ever go 30 days late. Once you go 30 days late, you can't reverse that. That's going to hit you for 7 years. You can't change it.
Right. Right.
So that's all we talked about in this piece here. Do automatic payments,
Right.
Where it's auto debit to your account. So that way there's never a late payment. And then when you can, make extra payments toward that principal. Keep
That
paying it
makes
down, keep
sense.
paying it down.
I noticed on this note here, it said, tips and tricks. To
Mhm.
keep your balances low, set up small monthly subscriptions to your cards like Hulu, Netflix, Spotify, etc. That's a good idea.
Yeah. So if you have an account that you're not really using it, you want to be able to put something on there. So just set up like your Netflix account. Just get that if you went to your card, and then just pay it off every month.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
These are all really great tips. Just kind of like absolutely bare bones. If you do nothing else, do these 4 things.
Yeah, so it's amazingly easy to manage once you understand the concept behind it.
Right.
And like I said, I talked to a lot of home buyers, and they think they're doing all the right things, and they are doing a lot of things right, but they're maybe not doing it quite the way the credit bureaus want to read it.
Right.
And so we want to set that up where the credit bureaus read it the way we want that to happen. And that way we get the best result for our buyers.
Yeah, I know you're really good at that. Well, excellent, Rick. Thank you so much for sharing this. This is really great information.
Yeah, it's cool.
And
Thank you.
if you all have a topic you'd like us to talk about, send in a message and we will make sure to get it covered.
All good stuff.
Thanks,
Love it.
Rick.
Thanks, Megan. See you later.
Bye.